do, we need to make up our primary standard. So we need to make up the sodium carbonate so that we know the concentration of it. So we need to weigh it out. Remember, we had to zero this. So on the scales is the tare button. So we press that until it's zeroed, and then we're just measuring the weight of our sodium carbonate. This sodium carbonate is anhydrous sodium carbonate. So this time, you'll see that we need 2.65, and we need to weigh this out accurately. And I'm doing it too fast and not concentrating. 2.65, so that our primary standard we know the concentration of. All right, yep. So anhydrous means it doesn't have any water in it. And when we weigh 2.65 grams of it, the only thing it is sodium carbonate. So we can't use sodium hydroxide as a primary standard because it would absorb the water out of the air, and then you're weighing out the water. Dissolve this. So we're going to make it up in 250 mils, and we're not using this because this is not very accurate, the beaker. So we're not putting it in a big beaker. We're not using a measuring cylinder, even though that is more accurate. We're going to use a volumetric flask because that line is the most accurate. Meniscus, we need to make sure it's all dissolved, because if we make the water up to there and there's still solid, undissolved solid, then when it dissolves, the volume will change. So you have to make sure it's dissolved first. You also need to make sure that it's labeled, because we're going to dilute our acid as well, because it's too concentrated in a volumetric flask. We'll dilute our acid in this one, and if they're not labeled, then we could get them confused. This has turned into a little solid. So I might stop videotaping. All right, Miss just mentioned that she actually puts the powder in here first, then rinses it out into there, and then in order to make it dissolve faster, what she did was shake it up like this, which was much better. Okay, so then we shook it all up and it dissolved actually quite quickly. So now that it's dissolved, now we can make it up. So if I just take this off for a second, and we're adding distilled water, so carefully we'll make it up to most of the way. So we want to get it up to this line, since it's just distilled water. Slowly, 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 slowly. And then when we got nearly to the end, then we just use a little dropper so that we can do it carefully. And you want the bottom, I don't know if you're going to be able to see. Can you see the bottom of the meniscus there? No.
It would be hard.
So we'll look at that on a picture, what the bottom of the meniscus looks like, and we make it. All right, so we're going to put our standard of known concentration, and you need to work out how many moles per litre that is in here.